Social, you can explore, save, and share recipes from your favorite foodie influencers. Save to collections, create free meal plans, and shop the ingredients you need with ease. On Food Social, we make it easy to find great recipes, get your ingredients, and connect with hundreds of trusted creators.
Everybody.
Oh, happy Thursday. It just barely passed. It's not good morning.
You just take the Australian.
G'day.
Joining us on all the socials. I'm going to Food Social. I'm joined here by amazing Michelle Daniels, Back Porch.
Greetings.
Here on our show. We're here every weekday at 2 p.m. or 12 p.m. Mountain. so Michelle can't say good morning.
Oh, now I'm messing you up. Yeah. Okay.
We have fun here,
Greetings.
and it's a live show, so who cares?
Exactly. Good weekend?
Yeah, a good weekend. I kind of mixed it up. I didn't have a typical weekend. I did some work, which I kind of always do, but it is
Yes.
beautiful, typical September weather here in Pennsylvania, which means the humidity is gone. It's 70 during the day. It's sunny. It's cool at night. Oh, I just live for it.
Yeah, that's a sweet spot for
Yeah.
this time of year. That's it. I love that too.
Yeah. And I understand you had a pretty good weekend too. Do you want to talk about what you did this weekend?
Yeah, I just Drew and I with one of my oldest daughter and her husband were doing a bike tour. It's not a race. I just got into cycling this year. Drew has been doing it for a long time, and so it's just a family thing we're doing. But so we went on a pretty long training ride this Saturday. It was an unexpectedly long one, but I slayed it. So I'm thrilled. I just did. But yeah, and then a family birthday party yesterday, of course. It's always someone's birthday. We have 5 grandkids, so but I made lasagna for the first time ever. I have never.
Dude, hold on. You've never made lasagna?
No.
Hey.
And he just turned 6. He requested lasagna, and my daughter made it too. But I thought, so of course I did pinwheel lasagna. Couldn't do the regular lasagna. I had to go out extra, and it was fun. But I used jarred everything. It's not
Why lasagna though? That's the curiosity.
I don't know.
Is he a fan of Garfield?
No, he's a fan of Hot Wheels.
It could be Go Dog Go. Go Dog Go would be another.
Yeah, I don't know. But he is an interesting little human, as you know, we've talked about it before, but that's what he wanted was lasagna. I'm like, okay, not my wheelhouse, but I'm up for a challenge. So I tried to channel Maria, our resident Italian queen there, and it was good. It was fun. So people said they liked it.
Yeah. Oh, that's making me think I should make lasagna too.
It's really good, and it's actually with the great bottled. I use Rouse to make. I just use a bottled jarred sauce, which is great, and the noodles you just cook them. And I didn't have any ricotta, so I whipped up some cottage cheese with some herbs from my garden. And I had some cooked sausage already, Italian sausage in the freezer. So it's just assembling it, and that was fun. But so it was an adventure. I'm always up for that. So.
Love. We've got the chat is lighting up. We dropped lasagna, which
I know. I'm sure I made so many mistakes.
No.
Sorry, Maria.
What does Bob Ross say? There's no mistakes, just happy accidents.
Yeah, and it was a happy accident. He loved it. His mom made lasagna, and he wanted the swirly ones, because it was swirly. I'm like, great, that's a win for Grandma. I'll take it.
So fun. Well, our show today is about common food myths, and we're going to debunk them to the best of our abilities here.
As known as the best that Bill and I know.
As
We're
best as we know.
we're super semi-professionally not trained anything, but here we go.
The disclaimer: we don't know anything. Everything we say can't be
Yeah.
used against us.
Google it later all you want, but we'll talk about it.
All right. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to bring one first?
You go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Let's see what you got.
So, the myth of eggs always need to be refrigerated. Do you know this one?
I have an opinion.
Okay. Well, an opinion is good, but
Yeah.
so in this day and age, most people get eggs from the grocery store where they're refrigerated. And so do need to be refrigerated because they're washed. But if you get
Okay.
farm
Yes.
eggs, a little like membrane that's part of the egg laying process that keeps bacteria out. Yeah, Tony's in the chat. I used to have chickens, so I do know this one. So if you don't wash the eggs, they can stay out and they're okay. I can't really remember how long, but I think it's at least a couple of weeks that it's okay. So if you wash your eggs, refrigerate. If you don't, you can leave them on the counter. And so that's
I have heard that.
Yeah.
I have.
What's your opinion on it?
Well, I guess I was because as a baker, and this is another kind of, people say no, it doesn't make a difference, but I have baked enough that I think it does, because I will leave eggs out to make them room temperature for my baking. And I've accidentally left them out overnight and I still use them the next day. And some people are like, good heavens, you shouldn't do that. And I'm like, but I do.
Yeah.
But they're also a little sphere, like it's pretty protected still. I wouldn't leave an egg out for 2 weeks on the counter and then use it if it's a store-bought egg, of course. But yeah, for me, setting it out so it's room temperature, and if it goes into the next day, I'm still okay with that. But don't anyone get angry about that. That's just me. But nobody's died that I know of that I've served.
All right. What's one that you have?
Well, on the topic of eggs, and there's some question about whether or not you need things room temperature when you bake. But what I'll say is that it usually depends on when you add the egg and to what point of the recipe you're adding it. Like for me, if I'm making a muffin and I have melted my fat, I'm not going to then drop a cold egg into it to whisk it up. The fat will seize up because the cold egg will, in fact, and then it just blows the whole method of baking a muffin for me. So I err on the side of just making sure my ingredients are room temperature. But some people say, oh, it doesn't matter. But if you're adding a cold egg to a larger something that's already does big a difference, but it kind of depends. So that's my little caveat.
Temperature. Temperature absolutely. It's science, and
I know that's what I was gonna say. It's a science experiment. Let's not fool anybody. It's a chemistry/science experiment for baking. So one little ingredient mess up like that, and you have the time in the muffin, and so.
Same thing in terms of baking and temperatures. The one that I think of right now is getting yeast to bloom. And that has kind of a narrow temperature range for that to work, where it's like 90 or 95 to just about 105 or maybe 110 if you're pushing it. Then you can kill it. And so like really like 100-degree water or milk or whatever your substrate is, like it's a narrow window to get that proper.
It is, especially if you're not using a live yeast. That's because again, you have to wake it up, and to wake it up, you don't want to just kill it in the process because you can. And every brand of yeast just have to be super delicate. So I actually do have a little thermometer I check for all my blooming yeast things for sure. So. Okay, I have a fun one, and it's kind of a dual thing. So there's this theory that marinating meat, oh, we're kind of frozen up. I am, at least.
Oh.
There I am. That marinating meat tenderizes it. But it adds flavor because it doesn't have a long enough time to penetrate to actually break down any of the collagen in the meat. And it might vary by cut of meat as well. Like if we're talking a skirt steak that's really thin
and tough
versus versus a tri-tip roast, which you can also marinate, you're not going to get any tenderizing in that tri-tip. So, so that's kind of, I love marinating meats always. I do like, if I'm marinating chicken, I do like to poke it with a fork just to allow some flavor, to get in. And you can do that with steak too.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really tenderize it. You have to break down a lot of the collagen and muscle stuff to get meat tender. So that's kind of, I don't know. What do you think?
I'm in that camp too. I believe that the best way to tenderize meat is with a meat mount.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of skirt steak in our house.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And that's one.
Yeah, it's a great cut, but
I forgot wallet and it was inedible after I.
Yeah, a little tough. Yeah, that's a great thing because it is a great quick cooking steak, which is great for a quick meal. But yeah, you have to treat it correctly or you're never going to go back to it again. So there's also another one for meat on the tail end of that. So that searing meat will keep it moist. But again, it actually, searing creates a Maillard reaction, which gives it a nice crust. And so we know what that means. You're going to have a lot more flavor. It's a whole nother level of flavor, but it's not necessarily keeping anything moist. Like if you stab a piece of chicken when it comes off the grill, you're going to let some of the moisture out. But it doesn't, searing it doesn't help. That's like a myth that I don't know. And again, there might be other opinions, but if you think about it, I don't know. But that's just another meat thing. And I'm not a butcher, so don't quote me on that.
That's a good one. I've never really thought about it too much, but I could see how that would be a pretty pervasive myth there because it seems like locking something in. But
yeah. But as I thought about it, I mean, the Maillard reaction is great if you're getting that nice crust because it does lend some great flavor and a beautiful color as well, which we know photographing food, chicken, you got to have that nice crust on it for it to look really good. And but yeah, for moisture, it tends to be pretty self-contained unless you pierce it or cut it too soon or, as we know, if you take it off the flame too early and then you cut right it hasn't had time to re-seam that once it's that's rested. I'm using the best terminology here.
Here's one. Speaking of cooking techniques, what about cutting onions and crying? Because I feel like everybody has their old wives' tale for how to prevent that.
Yeah.
From one that I've heard is like have a piece of bread nearby, keep your mouth closed while you're cutting the onion. Do you have any hacks for or myths around that you want to bust around frying onions?
I have also as someone that's shorter and really close to my counter, I have tried a lot of things because onions will just, so I'm not even 5 feet tall. So I'm really close to the onions as they're being cut, if you will. And so I have tried the candle method, is it a gas? I don't know. It didn't work. Nothing for my daughter, who's shorter than I am, uses goggles. She has onion. So none of them have worked for me. How about you?
So the one thing that I've noticed, and this goes back to temperature, is that the room temperature onions are far more potent than one that's been refrigerated. So if you can use one that's refrigerated, it's far easier to cut up.
Why do you think that is? What do you think the science is behind that?
I'm not sure, but it's like we sometimes we use a whole onion in one sitting, but often we end up with like a half in the
Sure.
fridge.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
next time
Yeah.
it's out, you're cutting it. It's like, wow, this is like 20% of what normally would happen.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting. I'll have to see. I hadn't thought about that. I mean, I just know my eyes are going to water. So
yeah,
it's interesting that someone said to, I guess you can close your mouth. You keep the, I don't know. My mouth is not often closed. It's usually, so I don't know.
I try. I mean, like the mouth closed, I always think of, and then the third thing is like I just try and work quickly, like whatever,
Right. Yeah.
like the onion, like let's just get through it out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes green onions are worse than like a round onion. Sometimes those green onions, the scallions, so like again, I don't know if it's a gas or just what, but like I've heard someone say, "Oh, they didn't get enough water when they were being grown," and I'm like,
Huh,
"What?"
that's interesting.
Because I've also heard jalapenos are hotter if you water them less when they're growing. I don't know.
Hmm.
See, now we're just making stuff up. So,
Any others?
yeah, one that I have learned recently is that there's this saying or method that you add oil to your pasta water to keep the pasta from sticking.
Hmm.
What do you think about that?
I don't really worry about that one too much. When I'm
Hmm.
thinking of pasta water, I'm just thinking like it must be salted. I think of Samin
Yeah.
Nosrat and saying it should
Yes.
be salty like the ocean. And so
Yes.
I try and
Agreed.
make sure to salt the water. But
Yeah.
if something has to sit out like a pasta for a pasta salad to cool, I'll give them
Sure.
a very good rinse.
Oh,
Yeah, but
definitely.
adding oil to the water, I mean, I've done it before, but oil and water don't really mix, so I don't really.
Well, and you're wasting really good olive oil,
Yeah,
right? Because the the most of the oil sits on top of the water anyways. You put it in the boiling
yeah,
water and it's just sitting on the top.
yeah,
It's not using itself into the pasta at all unless you're sitting there stirring it the whole time.
yeah.
And then you risk breaking pasta apart for, if it gets anyway. So, but I've heard that if you can keep it on a rolling boil or even just occasionally make sure you're moving the water around, your pasta is going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And after you take it out and you need to shock it, if you're going to do a pasta salad, like you said, adding a little bit of it,
Yeah.
well, then you're actually making contact with the pasta, with the oil. And so I've done that too. But I used to always put oil in my water, always.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Until I can't remember who I was following or who shared that, but I tried it and I'm like, okay, I will quit wasting as we know, good quality olive oil is not to be wasted.
Not to be wasted.
Yeah. So that's one I thought about that I have in the last year or
One.
so pivoted away from doing. So
Yeah, yeah. This is fun. Do we want to save any for another show, or do you have any more? I
um
didn't have that many.
oh I have probably too many. Just we'll do one more.
Okay.
How about that potatoes can make a dish less spicy?
I don't buy that one.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, no, where did you hear that? Because for me, usually if a dish is too spicy, I usually add some kind of fat. Like you can add,
Hmm?
depending on the dish, obviously. If it's a savory dish, you're not going to add, or a sweet dish, you're not going to add some weird kind of oil or fat. But because as we know, the thing that makes peppers hot is the casein. Is it casein? Yeah.
Capsicum.
Capsaicin, yeah. And dairy usually calms that down in your mouth. And so the dairy, for me, makes more sense in a recipe to tame the hot down. Like I will, like in my chili verde, if the jalapeno I've used is just a little bit too spicy for some of the guests I might be having, I will mix up a little slurry with some milk and some cornstarch just to calm it down a little
Yeah.
bit. But then also they'll just put sour cream on their burrito. So it levels out too.
Yeah, with potatoes, it's I think potatoes are they're a vehicle for whatever else is going on in a dish, right? Because they're so
Yeah.
mild. So if you've made a dish very spicy, they're just going to carry that with them.
Right. Yeah, because potatoes, there's a dish, and I can't remember what it's called, but you can add potatoes to a chili verde kind of dish.
Mm.
And the potatoes just take on, it doesn't make the dish less spicy, but they taste like the dish.
Yeah, right.
Me. Yeah. And they're delicious. I love potatoes.
It's kind of like you can use them in so many different capacities.
Yeah, exactly. That was one I'm just like, nah, I've never heard that. I don't know. And I love spicy food, so I think I would have heard about it between all my years.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Oh, I love
There you go.
food. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Well, that was fun. That's I don't spend a lot of time thinking about food myths.
There's so many. People make up some crazy stuff. I'll just say.
And there's so many related to health and wellness and weight loss and diet, when you should eat, what you should eat, what's a good food, what's a bad food.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into those here because we just love
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's too different to be super finite about that.
That's right. Life's too short to worry about Coke versus Diet Coke or anything like that.
Just have the Coke. Put in a little vanilla syrup. Make it a vanilla Coke and have a good day.
I love that. I'm a vanilla Coke person too.
Oh, I love it. It's my fave.
Yeah. Well, very fun. The week ahead, we're live every day at 2 p.m. Eastern. We've got Lorraine from Cabin's Cravings.
That'll be fun.
Thursday. I'm looking forward to that. And then on Friday, the week culminates with apple versus pumpkin.
Super excited. That'll be fun.
All right. Well, thanks.
All right. Have a good one, everyone.
All right.
Meet Food Social, the free recipe sharing app built by creators. On Food Social, you can explore, save, and share recipes from your favorite foodie influencers. Save to collections, create free meal plans, and shop the ingredients you need with ease. On Food Social, we make it easy to find great recipes, get your ingredients, and connect with hundreds of trusted creators.